Hello, 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 and welcome back to another amazing episode of E2E, Expert to Experts, where we bring you the world's best experts in different areas. And today we are going to talk of something which is vital and important. No matter who you are, whether you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, or you are self-employed, or you are employed, you must listen to this episode. You see, most of the time we think that, I'm not at that level, I'm not yet there, why should I be there? And then we focus on being consumers on other types of platforms, but we ignore the power of presenting ourselves and presenting our CV into a platform that automatically connects you with recruiters, connects you with people, leaders in specific industries. So today we are going to talk about LinkedIn. We're going to talk about this professional platform that is the major hub that can allow you to find your right spot, your right job, and potentially get into your real mission. So, for today, I have a special guest who is the expert in LinkedIn. This person has been among the first 10,000 people to join in on LinkedIn when it was founded. So, with no further ado, let's please welcome on stage the LinkedIn expert, Carole Fossey. Hello, Carole. How are you?
Hey Moses, I'm great, thank you.
Glad to see you. Glad to have you with us at this wonderful opportunity, this episode where we are going to talk about LinkedIn. So, the first question I want to ask you is, what is the major difference between LinkedIn and all the other social platforms, social media platforms?
Well, that is a great question, Moses. And I suppose the major difference is it is business to business, and people are expecting you to talk business on LinkedIn. So when you try and attract people on Facebook or on Instagram, you're kind of interrupting them when they are
Mhm.
chilling out, scrolling through baby videos, cat videos, baby cat videos, anything like that. And you have to interrupt them and take them away from that to whatever it is that you want to talk to them about. And that, that's not comfortable for them sometimes. Whereas on LinkedIn, you absolutely can talk about business. That is what it's for. That's what people are expecting. They still don't want to be sold to, right? Because it's not called selling media. It is called social media for a reason. But it is about business. And 2 years ago, nearly a year and a half ago, the LinkedIn algorithm changed. So during COVID, it was possible to go like really viral on LinkedIn with stuff that was about you and more personal stuff. But 18 months ago, LinkedIn changed the algorithm to deposition those kind of posts. Not saying it isn't still possible to go viral with a more personal post, but it's much less likely because the algorithm wants to understand what is it that you do? What are you uniquely positioned to help your audience with? And who are your audience? And if you're confusing the algorithm by posting about all sorts of different things at different times and connecting with different people, it won't know what it is that you do. It won't know where to show your stuff. It won't know who to connect you with. And it really won't work very well for you nowadays. So it's got to be business. And that's the major difference that I see.
Okay. And so the next question is kind of following what you have just said right now. What do most people get wrong when doing LinkedIn for their business?
Oh gosh, there's a long list of things that people get wrong. um, I guess the first one is expecting miracles.
Mhm.
So expecting things to happen very quickly. Um, Being inconsistent is another one because and that applies to all the social media platforms. Actually, consistency is king. So consistency is very important, but also forgetting that LinkedIn is about building relationships, um, and it's not about quick hits or buy my stuff. It's about building relationships, which will lead to business, but not maybe the first time you ever put something out. So realism, being realistic in expectations.
Mm, okay. Building relationships. Okay.
Mhm.
And what could be your tip in terms of building relationship when you put in a cold post or you put in an article? How do you build that relationship? Because you need to connect with that person as a human being and connect in order for you to be able to do business with them. What would be your best advice to build a relationship? Through a
Yeah.
post.
Yes. So, first of all, obviously, if anybody does comment on your post, please comment back and start that conversation. LinkedIn is all about conversations. That's what it wants to see happening. But they can be conversations on a post, but they can also be conversations on other people's posts. So not just yours. LinkedIn wants you to be proactive, to go out, to interact with other people who might be saying things that are of interest to your audience, not just random things. But also it will prioritize people who spend a lot of time talking to their existing network through messaging as well. So messaging, commenting on your own posts, comments, and also commenting on other people's posts, and sharing other people's posts, because LinkedIn love that. Of all the platforms, LinkedIn absolutely love that. Within our team, we use something called the 10 to 1. So we go out every day and we like 10 posts. Again, not random posts, but 10 posts that might be of interest to our audience. We comment on at least 2 of those. You can comment on all 10 if you want, but at least 2. And that means a proper comment, right? Not just great post, thanks for posting it. Actually an intelligent response to what that post is saying. So, 12 words or more is a sweet spot. And then sharing one post. There are people on LinkedIn who never ever create their own content. They only ever share other people's posts, and they can do quite well on that. I would say you need to create some of your own as well, but sharing relevant posts with your take on that post, that is something that LinkedIn really want to see happening. So whatever the algorithm wants, give it to it, and then you will benefit from that.
Okay, so just to give a quick recap, because I'm taking notes because this is very vital. It's so gold. So we have like 10 posts, comment 2 of them, at least minimum 12 words. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
And then at least share one with your takeaway.
Yes.
Okay, great. Sounds like a proper formula. Thank you for sharing that because this is very vital. Because I started my LinkedIn in 2014 when I had a transition from a career where I was a director in a company into creating my first sales agency. And when I did that, I said, okay, let me go on LinkedIn. When I went on LinkedIn, I was spending every day at least 20 minutes a day just connecting with people, connecting. Was that a good strategy or there are better strategies than that?
Well, that probably worked at that time. That the algorithms change over the years, and now it is much more important to have an engaged audience than the size of the audience. Obviously, if you can have both, brilliant. A very engaged large audience is better than a very engaged small audience, but it is more about the quality of your audience. Are they the right people? Are they just
Mm,
random people? Or are they actually your audience? So the algorithm understands who you're trying to connect with and will suggest more of those kind of people to you. And also, if they're more engaged, then they're going to be connecting, they're going to be talking to you, you're going to be talking to them, the algorithm's going to be happy, and so are the people, actually.
okay, so that's one of the mistakes I did. I was just randomly connecting with people just to grow the mass. And over time, it grew up, but
Mm,
then they are completely cold.
yeah.
I'm not engaging with them. They're not engaging with me.
Yes. Well, that wasn't a bad strategy like 11 years ago, because the point at the time was you might connect with somebody who in their network, they have your ideal customers. And if you're connected with that first person, then their audience will see your posts, etc. So
Mm,
that wasn't a bad strategy at that time, but it's not the strategy for 2025, definitely.
okay, okay.
So
And
I would
Carol,
say get rid of some of them. Get rid of some of them that are not actually your audience. They won't know. that LinkedIn won't send them a note going, "Oh, by the way, you know that Moses, he's just disconnected with you."
Oh,
They
okay.
don't. They don't get. They
So
don't
it
get.
doesn't work. It doesn't work like Instagram.
No.
Okay.
So you can disconnect with people, and they won't know about it, and it'll
I
be
can also disconnect with people who geographically, at the moment, now they're not relevant for me.
yes, yeah, absolutely. And it's okay to connect with some people who are not your target audience. It might be old work colleagues or whatever, but as long as that's a very small percentage, and the majority of the people you connect with are, interested in the same sort of topics, and LinkedIn understands what it is that you're doing.
Okay. Now it makes sense why some people who have a smaller audience than me, they've got more interactions um, indirectly and directly, and me with a larger audience is just about ego
Mm.
more than anything else. So thank you for that. This is really valuable. And for those of you who are watching us or you're listening us, make sure you get some notes because this expert today is bringing in gold nuggets here right now. So make sure you take some notes and make sure you click on the notification button and make sure you get on to share with somebody who may need to listen to this and may make impact. And I can hear your dogs are agreeing with me right now.
Yeah, sorry about that. We have 4. One's very quietly lying in this room with me, and the other 3 puppies are outside being overexcited.
Okay. Now, let's talk about you. You are the LinkedIn expert. And by the way, I'm curious, how did you end up being among the first adopters of LinkedIn at the very beginning?
Right. Well, yes. Let me tell you the story. So, if you had been with me in June 2003, you'd been sat in my office in Wilmslow with, a diary full of networking events to go to, because I was a Chamber of Commerce director and I used to go to the opening of a door. So I would go to, 5 or 6 networking events a week. It was a lot. It was too much, really. And so I was one day sat at my computer, I opened my email, and this email popped in saying, about online networking, join our online network. I was like, ooh, online networking. That sounds like me. That sounds like something I could do without committing to even more, going somewhere. So I looked at it, and I've always been a bit of an early adopter. When something happens, I want to try it first before everybody else. And yeah, that was it. So I joined, and I thought, God, this is rubbish. The reason it was rubbish was because there was only 10,000 people on it, which obviously I didn't know at the time. And they were all in America or India. And, I was in Manchester and running an IT recruitment company. So it wasn't really very useful at that time for me. Over the years, it's become very, very, very useful. So yeah, that's how it started. I was running a recruitment company at the time. So for that, it was very useful. That's what LinkedIn was originally set up to do, was to help you get your next job, really, to highlight you, to showcase you, which is why it looks a bit like a CV when you look at the format of it. And that's great if you are looking for a job. Obviously, if you're not looking for a job, you need to adapt it a little bit.
Okay. And you are among the first early adopters of LinkedIn. And in your expertise, in your opinion, what makes you be the expert of LinkedIn? Why you?
Well, I suppose it's my favorite. It's my favorite social media. We do run, I think, as you know, Moses, we run a multi-channel marketing apprenticeship for the government, which is for any small business who has staff they want to skill up. Really, you don't have to hire a new young person. You can skill somebody up. So we do literally cover every single social media, websites, funnels, SEO, podcasting, all sorts of stuff. But LinkedIn is my personal favorite. And that's because it is business to business. It is more sensible in that you don't get the kind of stuff that you get on Twitter, for example, the political rubbish. You don't get all the baby cat videos that you get on TikTok and and all of that. It is about business. And when I started my business back in back in 2001, May 2001. I was, before I started my business, I ran a big office, a big IT recruitment office called Computer Futures. Yeah, they're now the S3 groups. They're a big listed company, and I loved it. But I was building somebody else's dream. Yeah, and I'd always wanted to run my own business. By the time I was 40, I wish I'd said by the time I was 30. I might have done it sooner, but I was trapped in golden handcuffs, big salary, big bonuses, everything else. And then one day I forgot to pick up my daughter from nursery. She was 18 months old. It was a Thursday night. It was my night to pick her up, and I forgot. Only for about 10 minutes. I remembered at 6:10. I should have picked her up by 6 o'clock. So I rushed down to the nursery, picked her up. She was in her like snowsuit and everything, just lying there. She doesn't remember, so she's not mentally scarred by her mum forgetting her. But the woman who was waiting for me, if she could have been like tapping her fingernails and sighing a lot, that was kind of the feeling I got from her. But it made me really think. So next day at work, everybody took the mickey. What a great mum, and all the rest of it. It was fun banter. But over the weekend, I actually thought, yeah, what is this about? If I've not even got time to pick up my daughter from nursery one day a week, I am in the wrong place. So on the Monday morning, I phoned up and resigned. Everybody was very upset about that, but that's how it went. And I started my own IT recruitment company. At the time, looking back, Moses, I may not have made that decision today, but I had an 18-month-old daughter. My husband worked for 2 hours a day, so very small salary. And we had 2 months' money in the bank because, of course, I'd been on maternity leave for 9 months the year before. We'd spent all of our savings on maternity leave because, we could build it up again from my big salary that I had. Little thinking that I was going to be starting my own business. So it had to work from day one. It had to work. And when LinkedIn came along, like I say, 2 years after that, I just loved it. I thought it was a great concept. And then over the years, it's built to something really powerful. And all of our business that's not recommendation, because every small business, if you're doing a great job, you'll get referrals and recommendations. But all of our business that's not referral or recommendation comes through LinkedIn. So it's a very powerful tool. And it's positive. It's a positive place to be, unlike some of the others.
All your business, apart from a referral, comes from LinkedIn.
Organic LinkedIn, not even ads.
Wow, that's the complete opposite of me. All my business comes through referral and nothing comes through LinkedIn.
Right.
Imagine if I could at least get 80% referral and 20% LinkedIn. I would be in a wonderful spot.
Yes.
That would be great.
It is good. It is a really good thing. But you have to know what you're doing. You have to have a funnel like anywhere else. You have to have one thing that you talk about. You have to, drive all your traffic to the one thing.
Okay. And what's the difference between a business that succeeds and a business that does not succeed? Because at the moment, your business is succeeding on LinkedIn. My business is not. So what is the difference between the two businesses?
Okay. So going back to what I said earlier, consistency. You have to be consistent. You have to position yourself as, in a very clear way. So people know exactly what it is you do. And this is what a lot of businesses have a problem with, because a lot of businesses do different things. I do different things. We have an apprenticeship. Yeah. We have a LinkedIn group coaching program. That's our main thing. We have a retreat for women in June in Mallorca once a year. That's fabulous fun. We have a software, which is like Hootsuite, but better for small businesses. So, and we have a few other things going on. We have an optical recruitment company and some other stuff. So it would be very easy to be very confusing on LinkedIn because you want to cover everything that you do, but you can't be everything to everybody. So even though we do all social media, what we go out with on LinkedIn is LinkedIn for coaches. That's what we do. So we get people in that way, and other people also come. People think sometimes that by niching too much, they're going to lose out on business. Oh, well, What if somebody sees that and they're not, they're not that person, they're not a coach? Will you still get business? My last business that I took on is an electrician. The one before that is a software company. So it doesn't mean that other people will not come to you, but it just means that when the people who are your ideal audience read your stuff, it really resonates with them, and they get more. You get more of those kind of people. So that's the power of niching, really. You've got to be very clear. And then also LinkedIn know then what you're looking for. LinkedIn know that I am looking for coaches. They recommend coaches to me every day. You might want to connect with this person, that person, this person, that person. Yeah, because they know what it is that I do. And then you need to back that up with thought leadership. So are your articles talking about the things that you are an expert in? And your profile, when people go to your profile, they immediately, is your picture positioning you, is your headline positioning you as an expert in what you do? And are you using all the different tools that LinkedIn has? Because it has many nowadays that help you, like a services page, and like a company page, like a group. Are you using everything that LinkedIn has to offer? Because that all goes towards how LinkedIn think of you as a LinkedIn user. Because did you know, Moses, that LinkedIn scores you as a user? LinkedIn has a way of scoring you.
Really?
It's called LinkedIn's SSI. Nobody knows what it is. Very few people know what it is. Don't worry out there if you don't know what that is. You get to it by, you might want to write this down, by going to linkedin.com/sales/SSI. You have to be logged into your own LinkedIn to see it. You can't see anybody else's. But what that will do is it will give you your score out of 100 of what LinkedIn think of you as a LinkedIn user. And of course, the higher your score, the more reach it's going to give you, the more people it's going to introduce you to.
Wow.
The better things are going to work for you.
Okay, so for you guys you have just joined us now or you're listening, make sure you download on whatever directory you are listening to us, whether it's Spotify, Amazon, Apple, or whether you're watching us through YouTube. Okay, share this to somebody who may like it and need it. Click on the button for notification. And my biggest takeaway at this point is, number one, to be successful on LinkedIn, you must be consistent and position yourself.
Yes.
These are the two my biggest takeaways.
Here's
And
another one.
then,
Here's
yes,
another one for you. I'm going to throw this one in for free.
yeah,
LinkedIn. There are only 2 areas of LinkedIn where the API is open. What does that mean? It means there are only 2 areas that Google is allowed to see of LinkedIn. Okay. So the API is what connects LinkedIn to the world. Yeah. And the only 2 areas that LinkedIn allow Google to see are your profile and your articles.
Not posts.
Not posts. So you need to make sure that your keywords are in your profile.
Okay.
They're in your headline, which is the 2 or 3 sentences under your name on LinkedIn. You need to make sure that your about has got plenty of your keywords in. You need to make sure that you're doing articles as well as posts. Obviously, you need to do posts. That's for the people who are on LinkedIn. But for the people who are not on LinkedIn, articles will show up where posts will not. And there's a whole strategy we could go on for hours about what those articles should be about and how you create them. But if people want to know that, they can maybe come along to my free masterclass and find out about that.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, because you have a great gift for whoever is watching us or listening to us. And your gift is this, a free LinkedIn masterclass. Then for those of you who are on YouTube, go on the description. You will find a special link. Click on it, and you can register to the masterclass of the LinkedIn expert. And for those of you who are all on all the other directories, you can also look to your description and find the masterclass. So talk about this masterclass. What is it?
Yes. So it's an hour, and it is an hour. I'm very, very tight on times. So you won't be, there for hours and hours listening to me talk about my 10 houses and my 4 cars. It's not that kind of webinar. It is purely tips and strategies that you can use for your business to make LinkedIn work better for you. And one of the things we'll talk about is articles and newsletters on LinkedIn and how powerful they are. And there are, at least, depends how quickly I talk on the day, there's either 3 or 4 really top strategies in there. And I run this every 3 weeks. I've got one tomorrow, actually. Well, it might not be tomorrow, depending on when you're listening to this. If you're not listening when it comes out, it won't be tomorrow. But they are every few weeks. So you can register and you will get into the next free masterclass. It's completely free. There's nothing to buy. Don't bring your credit card. It is completely free. So,
And is the content always the same, or it always varies and changes?
it changes from time to time. So I might do the same content for a few times and then I'll change it to something else. So, even if you've been on one before, feel free to come back because it might be different this time. So definitely, whenever you want to register, there'll be some good
Okay.
value in it.
Thank you for that. Please click on the button for the free masterclass. I will be joining the next ones. Absolutely. Yes. Yes, 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 because you have given me, I've had my aha moments and I have understood what I was missing and doing wrong on LinkedIn. Great, great, great. Now, Carole, quickly give me um, 3 major lessons you have learned in your last 24 years in the business. And speaking with a lot of businesses that you work with, what are your 3 biggest lessons?
Okay. So from a business point of view, I guess the most important thing is your offer. Yeah.
Mhm.
Running an agency as I have since April 15, what I have come across so many times is I can drive as much traffic as you want to your website. But when people get there, if the offer's shit, they won't buy it. So it's really important that you get your offer right. That's critical. Also, I would say don't be too hard on yourself.
Mm.
Because starting a business, it takes more time than you think, it takes more effort than you think, it takes more money than you think, and it's harder work than you think. It's a bit like having a baby. There's never a great time to do it, but it's always worth it. Yeah. But you have to be patient sometimes. Yeah. Things aren't going to happen immediately. And even when you get things going, things can go down again. And then they go up again. And then they go down again. The thing is not to give up. As my dad once said to me, the businesses that survive are often the ones that just don't give up. Yeah. And I think Winston Churchill said something similar, never, 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 never give up because you will get there. So that's another thing. And then the third thing, I guess, that I've learned over 24 years is you can get sucked into being busy. It's very easy to be busy as a business owner. There's always something to do. There's always more that can be done. But you have to remember what you're doing it for. So I started my business to give me freedom so that I could spend more time with my children. And I had a real moment about 3 years ago when I felt like I'd been a terrible mom. Something happened with one of my kids and I felt like I'd been a terrible mom. I'd not been there. I'd, too focused on business. And she said to me, "Don't be ridiculous, Mum. You've always been there. You were at all the school plays. You were at all the awards. You were at all the performances that I've put on. You were always able to put down the phone and come and speak to me if I needed you. When have you not been there?" And that made me feel a little bit better because I still feel like I should have spent more time with her when she was a bit younger. But remember what you're doing it for. It's for your family. It's for your legacy. Don't be so tied up in the detail of the business every day that you forget the most important thing. The most important thing is your family, always, the people that you love. You could live in a shoebox if you're happy, it doesn't matter. So, yeah, those are, I guess, are the 3 things that I've learned.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. So powerful, so effective, so vital. So vital. And now, normally, usually, I always close um, the episode with an observation, with a interesting question. Now, Carole, after 24 years of experience in business and everything, you are who you are right now, and I want you to pause, stay there, But then I want to invite on your left, I want you to invite the Carole of 8 years, and I want to invite on your right the Carole of 80 years old. But now the Carole of today has to quickly address and say something to the Carole of 8 years old, and the Carole of today has to say something also to the Carole of 80 years old. What would that be? Let's close up with this word
Ah.
of wisdom.
So for the 8-year-old, I would say believe in yourself.
Mhm.
You are stronger than you know. You are cleverer than you think, and you can do it. Yeah. So just believe in yourself. And for the 8-year-old self, I'd say, hang on, just like this has been for you. This is for you, so that you can live the life that you've wanted to live.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. That's very good. That's very good. Thank you for sharing that. And uh, I still have one more question.
Sure.
You said that LinkedIn allows the AP through your profile and your articles.
Yeah.
But now, does LinkedIn punish you if you use ChatGPT or any type of AI to create posts or articles?
That's a good question. Um, not not that I've noticed at the moment, but it's more the people that are going to punish you for that rather than LinkedIn. I think because LinkedIn has its own AI. Um, you've got to make sure that when you're using Chat GPT, that it's still reflecting you. You know, use
Mhm.
it for what it's good at. So it's good for coming up with ideas that you can then grow. Um, it's good for create me the title for 60 blogs that are about this subject. Yeah. And then you look at them and go, yeah, that one, no, that one, this one, it's good for that kind of thing. But it's still got to be you. And you can program Chat GPT. I mean, if I was doing that, I like to write, so I write my own blogs. But if I wanted to program it to write my blogs, I would upload 50 of my blogs and say, okay, so now write me a blog that's about this and it's in my style. And so I would do that. Um, and that can have some good results. You still have to read it. You still have to make sure that it's what you want to say. But why not take the legwork out? It's like when the internet first came out, Moses. I was working in recruitment, and everybody said, "Oh, the internet, that's going to kill all the job boards." All the job, the recruitment agencies. There won't be any recruitment agencies because of the job boards. Everybody will just go straight to the job boards, and there'll be no agencies. Now we're 30 years later, and there's more agencies than there ever was. So that wasn't true. And it's the same with AI. Oh, it's going to kill a load of jobs. Yeah, but it'll create a load of other jobs. So it's going to be a good thing, but just use it for what it's good for. Use it for the legwork, not for the creativity. Should give you space as a human to do what only you can do, which is be human and create.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Carole. And guys, this is one more time E2E, where we bring you the best world's experts. And today we have had the one and only LinkedIn expert. And I don't know about you, but this episode is definitely among my favorites because it's practical, it's helpful, and you can apply it immediately. So if you want, on the beneath, please share with us and comment. And please reach out to Carole Fossey. You have all the details in description. And don't miss the gift of the amazing masterclass she's offering you for free, where you can go and get insights and tips. And if you ever want to work and you ever need somebody to help you, please don't go to anybody. Go to somebody who has a proven track of over 24 years working with LinkedIn. That's all from me. Thank you so much, Carole. We appreciate you. We love you. And thank you so much. And again, E2E, expert to experts. See you on the next episode. Ciao.